Guys, you have to know this. The way a person treats one thing is the way they treat everything. I'm not saying this for an absolute fact, but I'm saying this based on some things I've experienced. And I'm also using this to reflect on myself because I think I've not been treating my business well. But guess what? I've been treating it the way I treat things in my life. Going to the gym, if I want to be honest with you guys, I have never had a workout routine. I have never tracked my macros or my macros. I have never counted my calories. But I go to the gym and I have a decent body. If I'm being honest, I have a slightly above average body, but I've never done the extra. I just take protein. I go to the gym consistently, although I kind of keep track of the routine in my head, but I don't write it down. Sometimes I do, but I'm not very strict to it. I'm not a 50 kg this week, 70 kg next week. Sometimes I also do, but sometimes I go back and forth. But if I want to be very honest, in as much as I don't write it down and I'm back and forth, I always mentally document it in my head. So let's say this week I'm benching 100 kilos. That doesn't mean next week I will not bench 100 kilos or I will bench 60 kilos. No. But unlike what I feel like I should be doing as a dedicated gym goer, which is bench 100 kilos this week, next week add 5 kilos, bench that, I just vibe with it. And there was a time in my life where I didn't even have a workout routine. I vibe with my body, which is weird because vibing with my body still allowed me to do the right things. Meaning, I work out a body muscle group at least 3 days a week. And if you're watching this from the onset, you might be thinking I don't work out well at all. No, it is not that I don't work out well, but relatively speaking to what I could have achieved if I was a person that was documenting my workouts judiciously, I have not achieved that because I know that I would look a whole lot better if I was documenting my workout routine judiciously. But I don't document my workout routine judiciously. I document it to an extent. I keep mental track of it, but nothing extreme. And once again, an example of an extreme documentation is keeping weekly track of what you are doing. I don't really keep weekly, and sometimes if I do, I stay consistent for the weekly keeping of track, and the next week I forget or I can't be bothered. But when I go to the gym, I am consistent, like at least 6 to 7 times a week. Although I have not been to the gym in 2 months because I've been broke. Mainly because I have been broke, and also because I was thinking of moving my gym attention to my business and my visa, but that is an excuse. The real reason is because I have been broke. That is just the truth. And I realized that this same way is how I treat everything in my life, down to my business. I don't really keep track of things. I make mental preparations. I document things to an extent, but I don't do it judiciously. I don't scrutinize it and then plan it step by step and keep track of the plans and the records step by step every single day, step by step. I just do an overall plan and I try to stick to it, and I'm kind of on and off, but I have a mental picture of the bigger goal in my head. And that is very bad. And that is how I do everything in my life. I have a bigger picture or a big picture. I have a mental plan to an extent. Then I just go with the vibe and the flow and figure it out. And with the gym, there are some times I just go to the gym. I just go to the gym and I just close my eyes, and then whichever body group that feels like it's talking to me is what I work out. During that period, I used to see that I was connecting with my muscles. And in as much as this really made my muscles feel alive, like this made me feel like a form of sentient being. I know for a fact that the person keeping track of their workout and they are documenting it judiciously would be better off than me using my muscle mind psychic connection. They definitely would be. So, the way a person does one thing is the way a person does everything. Even now that I think about it, even in my relationship, I'm not the kind of person to like chase a girl like crazy, but I still put in an effort and then I go with the flow, and that is bad. And although I am very loving and I'm very romantic, and like I really adore my partner or whoever I'm with, I don't do a form of strategic planning to even getting the person or keeping the person, and that is bad. That is very bad. And now relating it to the TV show of campus. Should I keep it in this video or another video? We have this guy. If you watch this TV show, you'd realize that it seems like a loving boyfriend, but he's very cold. And I don't mean cold by being nonchalant, I mean cold by not trying to keep up with his partner. Because, in as much as you should have your own base personality, I think your partner should also influence who you are and help you get better. And that is why I think your partner can either elevate you or bring you down. Because the person who you are influences your behavior regardless of however you feel. I don't want to get into mine because I would have to start doing a lot of thinking. But this guy, she is clearly looking bored. There is not much backstory, and I know everything in relationship is not about excitement, but she seems like the type of person that likes excitement from the first two episodes, and he has been practically shutting down every attempt she makes for them to have some form of excitement. Although they've been dating for 2 years, it's like they are strangers to each other. because for some reason he keeps not knowing that she likes excitement and likes to have fun. And not in a bad way because he is a boyfriend, but he kind of seems lackadaisical about it. And in a way, it is allowing her to not grow and be the child that she is. So it is like he's killing her light. He's dulling that part of her. And we see that in the episode where she was trying to try out new various sex positions and him just shutting it down and saying he wants to stick to the same routine, or them trying to pick out an Halloween costume and him not seeming very interested, or even them going to a party together and him going to park off his car, taking ages and just seeming like he's not really into her, although he is extremely into her. And I will talk about him later, but I'm talking about both of them right now as a whole. So she likes the excitement. She acts like a playful child, and he acts like a bored child that is just trying to fill a void with her presence. So in a way, it's like he's just trying to fill a void. He doesn't love her like as her. He doesn't love the components of her, the composition of who she is as a human being. Like, apart from the exterior, the interior, and all the molecules that make up who she is. And by molecules, I don't mean the exact molecules that make her up as a human being, or her flesh and blood, or her cells. I mean a character, a personality, and the things that you don't see but you feel. He doesn't love it. I don't even think he likes it from his behavior. So all this is strictly from his behavior. But she seems like she likes him to an extent. But she also seems like someone that is. Now, this next statement is not accurate, but she seems like someone that's probably needs a void to be filled and doesn't want to be alone. And so she wants that need for attachment or that need for companionship, because she never gave me much reason to doubt her until the scene where she saw him. She was kind of excited, but she was not too excited. Now, I don't want to really talk about me, but I'll talk about two of my most recent relationships. My ex, before coming to the UK, I know that girl was madly in love with me, because every time she sees me, it's like she sees me for the first time. And it was like every time is the first time. And so there's this kind of excitement and light that comes up in her eyeballs when she sees me, and it makes me feel like, why do you love me so much? And I just know that this girl is not just in love with me, but this girl is obsessed with me. And we see like 4 to 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And every time we see, she was always like that. Every time we see. But there was a time we were not together for like 3 weeks because I went on NYSC camp. That was the only time we were apart for a long time. And when we saw later, our excitement was out of this world. And she's the kind of girl that sings me to sleep every night. Maybe not every single night, but most nights she sings me to sleep. And then I add my other ex, which is my most recent. She also seemed very excited, but at some point, a form of complacency started setting in that it just felt like we were getting to a stage where there wasn't spark. So for both of them, it's either their relationship has gotten to that stage where they've been dating for a long time and the spark is now starting to die. But the only difference now is that why I know that my other ex before my most recent ex loved me more than my most recent ex is because even after dating for a year, when this girl sees me, it is like she's seeing me for the first time. But then I love her and whatever she wants, I give her. Which is funny because we are not even talking about money or anything material. We are talking about emotions. She likes to talk like 20 times a day. I forced myself to start talking to her 20 times a day. She likes constant reassurance. She's the kind of girl that wants to know where you are every single minute of the day, which is a bit creepy. But I did that every single minute of the day, which is still a bit creepy. But I will say the truth. I still kind of ended up cheating on her, which shows that I am a monster. Okay, now back to them. Now, with everything I've said here, you might be like, oh, it's just about her liking fun and him not liking fun. So maybe it's a difference in their personality. Yeah, you would think that, although for me, that is a red flag because even if there is a difference in personality, you have to bend for your lover because you don't love them for the exterior. You love them for their eternal being. So every composition is something that you're obsessed with. So if she wants something, you try it and you do it, regardless of what it is. And I'm not saying if she wants you to kill somebody or something crazy, but if there is something that she wants and it is beyond your means, not I'm wanting to kill someone or some crazy thing like that. Apologies if that did not rhyme in. But I just mean if there is something that she wants romantically or there is something she wants as a human being that eases her trauma or that makes her sing, you give it to her regardless of how it makes you feel. But he didn't give her the sex position she wanted. And trust me, it's always more than sex. Because for some people, sex is not just sex. I don't know if this is lost, and I'm pretty certain it is not. But for some people, sex is like a form of expression. The way art and music is. And for some people, sex is a way they know if they're in love with a person. Because, trust me guys, sex with the woman you love is absolutely different from a random person. It is not even remotely the same. It's not it doesn't even come close by a light year, which is why randomly hooking up is kind of not. It's understandable for the lost, but for me, I don't understand the pleasure part of it. There is the ejaculation, but it is not sweet. Now, he did not give her the sex position that she wants, and he still wouldn't give her the entertainment that she likes. Although I think he kind of likes her, but I think he's also bored and he just doesn't want to be alone. Or maybe I'm getting this wrong. So as we go on, I would elaborate further. And now, in this scene, they're both talking about their future. She is trying to move to a different location because she wants to pursue her dreams, and he is moving to a different location to pursue her dreams. But guess what? This guy said, why would she move to that location? Why shouldn't she just be with him? Because he thought that her dreams is just a feeling that she had and she's meant to outgrow. And one thing I know for a fact is that a person that loves you cannot bring themselves to not listen to your soul. And in as much as I started this video by saying that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, I am giving it that benefit of the doubt that maybe it does everything in his life in a lackadaisical way, and that is why he's unable to treat her extremely properly. Because I don't want to sit for a fact, because I don't know these things for a fact, and so I don't want to come and lie to you or mislead you. But in as much as I've said all these things, and Misfit is for us to share opinions, I know that a person that loves you will not bring themselves to dismiss your emotions, because your emotions becomes their emotions. Let me know what you think in the comment section.